Does Texas have the best quarterback of the four remaining college football playoff teams? We'll discuss on today's edition of the BK Show. What's up, guys and gals? Welcome in to the BK Show. I'm your host, BK Brad Kellner. Hope everyone's having a fantastic start to the weekend and a fantastic start to 2025. Y'all see the title? Y'all heard the question. Today, we're talking quarterbacks. Does Texas have the best quarterback of the four teams still alive in the first ever 12 team CFP? Is Quinn Ewers better than Will Howard at Ohio State? Is Quinn Ewers better than Riley Leonard at Notre Dame? Is Quinn Ewers better than Drew Allar at Penn State? I say yes. Now, before y'all get too mad, I can already hear some of y'all typing away in the comments right now. This is not a video saying that Quinn Ewers is the best quarterback in college football. This is not a video saying Quinn Ewers should be the number one pick in the 2025 NFL draft. This is not a video saying Texas is guaranteed, Charles Barkley, to win the national championship because they've got Quinn Ewers and the other three teams don't. No, it's none of that. This is just a video where I say that Quinn Ewers is the best quarterback of the four that are still playing football in the 2024 season, especially with the way that Quinn has played as of late. You look at his two performances in the Longhorns' two CFP victories. He's been great, completing 69% of his passes. Very nice. For 524 yards. He's got four passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown as well. He has thrown two interceptions. Now, one of those was on a perfectly thrown ball to DeAndre Moore that Moore couldn't corral in the Longhorns' first round victory against Clemson. Nothing Quinn Ewers did wrong on that play. The other interception, a little less excusable. That was on that YOLO throw by Quinn Ewers to Isaiah Bond in the fourth quarter of the Longhorns' victory over Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. I blame Steve Sarkisian for calling that play. I think he's got to shoulder some of the blame for that interception. But hey, Quinn Ewers made the decision to throw it to Bond, and it wasn't a great ball. So that one, once again, a little less excusable. But hey, despite that, Quinn Ewers has been really, really good for Texas so far in the CFP. And you look at what he did in the final 5 minutes of regulation and in the two overtime periods in the Peach Bowl. He went full Greg Jennings, and he put the team on his back, though. Shout out to one of the first viral videos in YouTube history. He was fantastic. 11 of 14 passing, more than 150 yards, two touchdowns, zero turnovers in the last five of the fourth quarter and the two overtimes. Of course, he put Texas in position to win the game at the end of regulation twice. Unfortunately, the idiot kicker went full idiot kicker and couldn't deliver. But I think Quinn Ewers deserves a lot of credit for what he was able to do at the end of regulation, putting Texas into field goal range on two different occurrences. And it felt like everybody else was melting down around Quinn Ewers in that fourth quarter in Atlanta. But Quinn Ewers stepped up when he absolutely needed to. And obviously, 4th and 13, fourth and season for the Texas Longhorns. Not only does Quinn Ewers deliver a perfect ball to Matthew Golden for the touchdown, he changed the play and changed the protection before the snap. That's the experience. That's the mind of Quinn Ewers showing up at the perfect time for Texas. He saw the look that Arizona State presented pre-snap. He changed up the protection. He kept Gunnar Helm and Trey Wisner into block. And then, boom, once the ball was snapped, he delivers the beautiful ball to Matthew Golden to keep Texas's national title hopes alive. I mean, that already should be considered one of the biggest plays in Texas football history. Obviously, if the Longhorns are able to find two more wins here early in 2025, then that play, look, nothing will ever top 4th and 5 with VY, the run for the Roses. But that play is going to live in Texas lore forever. So that throw was obviously sensational. And then the first play of double overtime, the 25-yard touchdown pass to Gunnar Helm, great route concept, but a perfect throw from Quinn Ewers there. And that ended up being the game-winning touchdown for the Longhorns. Quinn also delivered on that two-point conversion, another ball to Matthew Golden. So he put his Superman cape on down the stretch in that win against ASU. And it goes without saying, but Texas really needed Quinn to step up, and he did. In a legacy game, he delivered. And, oh, by the way, according to Pro Football Focus, Quinn Ewers was the highest rated quarterback of any of the 8 QBs who played in the quarterfinal round of this college football playoff. So it's not just me, a Texas fan, a Texas grad, a Texas YouTuber, heaping the praise on Quinn Ewers for what he did in the Peach Bowl. The folks at PFF agree with me as well. And look, Quinn didn't have to do a whole lot against Clemson. And Texas ran for almost 300 yards in that game, but Quinn Ewers was efficient. He was sharp. He was quick with his decision making. I thought he played really, really well in the Longhorns' first round game, too. So it feels like he's playing his best football of the season, some of the best ball of his career at the right time. Now, saying Quinn Ewers is the best of these 4 quarterbacks is not saying Will Howard, Riley Leonard, and Drew Allar aren't good. Those guys are all very good, and they're a huge part of why their teams are still alive in this semifinal round. But you look at what some of these other quarterbacks have done in the CFP so far. I mean, Riley Leonard threw for 90 yards in Notre Dame's win over Georgia. Now, he ran for 60, and he did what he needed to do for the Fighting Irish to win that game. But he threw for 90 yards in that one. Drew Allar hasn't cracked 175 yards in either of Penn State's 2 playoff wins. Now, Will Howard, he's been great. There's nothing bad you could say about Howard with what he's done in the college football playoff so far. I'd argue he's had the 2 best passing games of his whole career, like dating back to his time at K-State in these 2 playoff wins over Tennessee and Oregon. But let's not forget, 3 weeks ago, people were getting on Ohio State for letting Kyle McCord leave in the transfer portal last offseason. They were comparing Will Howard to Kyle McCord and saying that, oh, McCord's been better this year, and Ohio State made a mistake letting him go and bringing in Will Howard from the portal. That wasn't like in August or September. That was 3 weeks ago for Ohio State. So look, Will Howard, once again, very good, but I'm not forgetting that. Feels like a lot of people have changed their tone on Will Howard with what he's done in the CFP so far. Again, he's been great, but I don't forget that. And oh, by the way, Will Howard has never beaten Texas in his career. Then you go to the regular season numbers, and this is not just a numbers thing. We'll talk about some of the other separators for Quinn Ewers here in a moment, but Quinn Ewers threw for more yards per game than Drew Allar and Riley Leonard. About 4 less per game, than Will Howard did. And then you look at the touchdowns. Quinn Ewers threw for more touchdowns than Allar and Leonard as well. 3 fewer than Howard to this point in the year. But remember, Quinn Ewers missed 2.5 games due to injury. So if Quinn got to finish the game against UTSA, if he got to play against ULM and Mississippi State, 2 of the weaker teams on Texas's schedule, I think Quinn Ewers would have thrown for at least 3 total touchdowns in those 2.5 games. And I think you would have that edge. Hell, he'd probably have the yards edge over Will Howard as well. So the stats, I think, back up the argument too. And look, Quinn Ewers is not perfect. He has his flaws. I've compared him to a box of chocolates this year, right? You never really know what you're going to get. At times, Quinn Ewers is the milk chocolate filled with the caramel, the one you really want, the one that you wish the entire box was filled with. Yeah, when he's on, he's really good. At times, though, Quinn Ewers has been the dark chocolate with the raspberry filling and the giant nuts in the middle. Get your nuts out of my chocolate. Get fruit out of my chocolate. I don't want any of that stuff in there. And I don't want any bad Quinn Ewers performances either. So Quinn has his flaws. Look, he's thrown more interceptions than any of the 4 quarterbacks that are still left. He's thrown a pick in each of the last 4 games that Texas has played in. And Texas fans have been very critical of Quinn's play at times this year. Now, I think Texas fans have been overcritical of Quinn's play because his backup quarterback's last name is Manning. I think that's kind of flawed a lot of people's evals when looking at what Quinn Ewers has done this season, but he's been really, really good for Texas. Don't get it twisted. He is a huge reason why Texas is still alive in this college football playoff. Yes, he has his flaws, but man, the numbers back it up. And then the experience and the mind. I think that's the separator for Quinn Ewers here, too. Look, I think Drew Allar's a better pro prospect than Quinn Ewers is. And Riley Leonard's a better runner than Quinn Ewers is. Will Howard's a better runner. Like Quinn Ewers is probably the least athletic of these 4 quarterbacks. But Quinn Ewers, the experience is there. The mind is there. Hell, go back to the Clemson game. The Jaden Blue 77-yard touchdown run that kind of put that game on ice for the Longhorns in the 4th quarter. Quinn Ewers checked to that play as well. He saw what Clemson was doing, changed the play up, turns into a huge touchdown. That was the biggest play from scrimmage for the Texas offense this season. Oh, by the way, on Jaden Blue's other touchdown run in that win over Clemson Quinn Ewers audible to that play as well. So the experience, the mind, the arm talent is there. Is it perfect? No. We don't need Quinn Ewers to be taking too many deep shots in the middle of the field. Sometimes he lets those float, but the deep balls down the sideline were really good in the game against Arizona State and in the game against Clemson. And then Quinn Ewers continues to be elite on those short and intermediate throws as well. And just right now, if you asked me, just kind of bringing this all together here, if you asked me to build my dream roster, I get to go NFL Street and pick players from each of these four teams to build the best possible roster in this college football playoff. Quinn Ewers would be my quarterback. Quinn Ewers would be my quarterback. Now, I'd love to get Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Ibuka in burnt orange. I'd love to have Nick Singleton and Katron Allen in the backfield wearing a Texas jersey, and I wouldn't mind having Notre Dame's offensive line. Once again, this is not Texas is guaranteed to win the national championship and the Longhorns are the best team left because they've got Quinn Ewers. Nah, but if you're asking me to pick which quarterback I would want leading the Longhorns into the semifinal round of this college football playoff, I would go with Quinn Ewers. What say y'all? Let me know in the comments below. By the way, if I was ranking the four quarterbacks, and I want to get y'all's rankings too, I'd go Quinn Ewers 1, Will Howard 2, Drew Allar 3, Riley Leonard 4. Feels disrespectful to Riley Leonard to put him last, considering what he's meant to the Fighting Irish this season, but that's what I would go. Ewers 1, Howard 2, Allar 3, Riley Leonard 4. For what these guys are right now and what they are in college football, that would be my ranking. So again, I believe Texas has the best quarterback of any team still playing in this college football playoff. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please like this video if you made it this far. Please subscribe to the channel. The BK Show is your one-stop shop for all things Texas Longhorn content on YouTube. Really excited to grow this thing and excited for y'all to be a part of it. Really do appreciate the love and support. And we'll be back soon to talk more about Texas and Ohio State and the Cotton Bowl and all things Texas Longhorn sports. Once again, the number one source for Longhorns news on YouTube. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember, when you watch the BK Show, you rule. See y'all soon. Hook 'em.